Hey folks, ET here coming at you with the midweek mashup, and we're going to cover SPY, QQQ, and Tesla once again after its drawdown today, just to see where everything is looking. So we're going to start with SPY. Here's its chart. We'll come back to it here in a few minutes. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about once we get played out here a little bit and start seeing some of the data. Obviously, we don't pay attention to its net flow necessarily. There were some puts bought today. No shocker there, as it had a drawdown day. Going into its back test for dealer Greeks, once again, it is showing a bearish sign. Positive means bearish in this back test. So we had a little bit of a bullish sign finally, and then it just kind of eased back into a little bit of a bearish signal there. Going into its price distro for Thursday, kind of showing a mixed bag. And then going into Friday, it's showing a bit of a run-up day. Going into Monday, starting to see some stronger signals going into next week, which is interesting to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at its dealer OI. Finishing out this week are some bearish positions, which doesn't necessarily line up with Friday's price distribution there. And then going into early next week, we do have another dealer bearish position, and then it starts to ramp up again a little bit, just slightly into the bullish positions. Kind of a mixed bag there. But here's the interesting thing that I'm really looking at. Friday's expiry, I've already got it pulled up. We are looking at 430 as its biggest gamma pull currently. Okay, that's its largest negative level and its current biggest pull. We're also looking at, if all the data continues to want to line up, for around 430 as our GEX and VEX support, where dealers support price, right around there. 430, 432, right around there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the levels and why I find this interesting. One, gamma cleared off in the middle here today. There are some smaller levels, but for our trading view pull purposes, it definitely cleared off and created this ghost zone. When you import the trading levels and you turn them on, it will give you these gray areas for these large ghost zones. I keep them off because I like my chart to be clean, but I do use them to pull the levels in. So here's what's interesting to me. Right around 430 is a positive level. If we turn this back on, sorry, not 430, 426 is a positive level, which would really be a place for potential repel. Currently, the biggest pull is this 430 though. And what is interesting to see is, I talked about it in a tweet earlier on in the week, this massive dark pull here. I said, I'm not saying price goes there, but if price happens to dip below this 430 on that pull, we get more bearish MNF and we get a bit of a gap down. This is a huge spot here that we could start to see some rebounding, and breaking it obviously would be not great, as the ghost zones go all the way down as we go. But looking at this right here, this is a pretty clean piece of data that we're looking at. We have negative dealer Greeks, we have a negative pull at 430, we have price support at 430, and we have a massive dark pull just below 430 at 428.67. So my inclination would be that as long as MNF is bearish and we see some ODTE GEX that is pulling down a little bit, I'm going to short every green candle to 430. That is my plan. If it does not work out, I'll take my 20% stop and lick my wounds and know that I was wrong. So that is what I'm looking at with SPY. Let's go ahead and move on to QQQ real quick. All right, I've already pulled all of its data up as well. It is still slightly on the bearish side when it comes to its dealer Greeks buildup. It's showing some downside tomorrow, which is interesting because we do have a little bit of a bearish positioning today and tomorrow, going into it with a rebound on Friday, which is I think around what we're looking at for SPY. It's kind of a mixed bag going across the board here. A little bit of a chop, and as we can see, getting into Monday, it starts to get a little bit more bullish. And that kind of continues with more chop as we see it going around. So that's interesting to see there. Our price is at 360 roughly as we sit. Its current biggest pull is 360, with 365 being its biggest positive, which could repel price. So a decent range, 365 to 360, with its next biggest negative pull being at 355. Its GEX and VEX profile, once again, is still supported a little bit lower, but 353, 355 would make sense if we do lose these levels here, this 360, and get further down. Let's go ahead and take a look at its levels. About 355 right here, as you can see, is a pretty sizable zone down, but there's a lot of pull going down. We are at 361.66 already during post-market trading, so we're already pretty close to that 360. repel levels potential are right above, obviously, with the 365 being the biggest. So what I'm eyeing here is if there is some more weakness in the market, maybe a pullback to this area here, this 355. Right, breaking that would bring it in a pretty big ghost zone, but that would be a very big move. But I'd not be shocked if both are down tomorrow for us to see 355 and about this 430. All right, on SPY. So that is the QQQ data. We're going to go ahead and bring up Tesla. I have not pulled up all of its data yet. Maybe if I could learn how to type, we could get there a little faster. Okay, here is Tesla. Big bad day today for Tesla. Let's go ahead and grab. I already grabbed its levels. Let's pop them in there and let's see what we're looking at level wise. Oh, nope, that was QQQ levels. My bad. Let's go ahead and grab them then. All right, now we have the proper levels for Tesla. So moving along, as you can see, we're in a pretty sizable ghost zone, actually down to 250. Let's go ahead and check its options dashboard and see where we're looking. A lot of puts today, as you can see right here. Not a whole lot of puts today, as you can see right here. Was some calls. There were some calls that were emptied. This is its 5-day MNF, and as I'm a swing trader, there's something I'm always trying to look at when it comes to individual tickers, not the indices. I'm looking to see if they are still holding. We did see puts just get a tiny tail today on today's drawdown, but calls are still being bought up, which is really interesting to see. All right, going down into its back test, it is still showing bullish. In fact, more so today than it was the other day, and it has amazing return rates, which are crazy. So that is wild to see. What we also see here is some potential bullish momentum tomorrow when it comes to price distribution, and then Friday even more bullish going into it. If we go into Monday, right, Tesla just seems to have price distributions that are showing positive after today's dip, which is crazy to see. Going into the next 2 weeks expiries for its dealer OI, these are bullish positions, right? Dealer bearish means potential bullish. So these big red lines here mean that there is still more potential for Tesla run up, which is absolutely wild. Let's go ahead and check its this week's expiries to see where we're sitting. 265, which we are below, is its biggest pull, and then 277.5 would be its biggest potential repel, with some decent sized levels in between to pull up. But for the most part, those are the two levels that I'm looking, 265 and 277.5 for my trading range for Tesla. As far as where it's supported, 260, well, I'll be darned. Let's take a look at price. We're right around 260. So ideally, what I would love to see here, obviously, now this is a massive ghost zone to 300, and as you've heard me say before, that's where my calls are sitting at a month from now. Actually, just 2 days shy of a month from now at this point, but that's where they are sitting. So ideally, what would be nice is a hold tomorrow, or even a gap down to follow SPY and QQQ if they do the same. If we have one more red day, it will be nice to see that trend down, and then our repel level here is 244, so we'd have to see that, or 245, I guess. So we'd have to see that, but it would be nice to see it range in this area here and then pick back up into Friday and the rest of next week. So that's really what I'm watching with Tesla. Wouldn't mind another pullback here if we happen to have another terrible day that's a $9 drop, but Tesla does crazy things. Wouldn't mind another pullback to load more longs as long as the data holds, or roll my longs out as they're still well in profit as we sit, because we did grab them a long time ago. So this is what I'm watching on Tesla. Those are three things that I'm really keeping my eye on. I trade Tesla pretty frequently. I really don't trade QQQ too often. I obviously trade SPY once or twice a day, every day. But these are the things that I'm kind of eyeing and the levels that I'm paying attention to going into the next two sessions and into next week. Everybody have a good day. Hope this was helpful, and go get that Oprah money.